Oh, I forgot my guitar. Damn it.
All right, just wait for it to hit and we will go.
I've been waiting for it to hit, too. Welcome. Hi.
Oh, really? Are you sure? Okay, here we go.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic checks on the record albums have their own. This is a special question.
We don't want you to smoke genetic and modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. Want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sesame.
Sweet.
Some call it dance bread.
The tea.
And some people call it.
I know all about that.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn.
Hi, my name is Dave.
We are live in the studio. Jeez, Dave, it doesn't take much to get Dave going.
And I'm good for the day now.
We are here live in the studio with Boulder Built with Natalie and Brian, and we also have Jonah Tacoma in the wings, I believe, still, but he's going to be checking in for the second half of the show because Dave, the producer, totally explained it to him, so he understands.
Yeah, like 5 minutes ago.
What the heck?
Good job. Good job.
Dave, producer Dave.
And yeah, we're keeping it simple this time. I had a third guest, so we were going to bring in, but we were like, you know what? I can't get this overlap. We have too many guests.
Who did we bump? Do you want to say who it was?
No. Next week they're going to find out. James Bean, man of the scene, is going to be bringing some new breeders.
Some talent.
New breeders on the block.
Oh,
Yeah.
new breeder. Ooh,
What, you like that?
new breeders on the block.
Oh, you like
Is
that?
that like a little boy band? Mark, there's your calling, man.
What did I do?
You can be the lead singer, the hot one in New Breeders on the Block.
New breeders on the block?
we're talking.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
That's some
Dave's a
wild
genius.
stuff.
Dave's a genius.
good job, Dave.
Yeah, you like that?
Way to go.
You
like
know
that?
me.
Hey, so let's just start out. For all the deadheads out there, it's a sad day, August 9th, the day we lost Jerry.
Oh, this is Adam's favorite story.
I know. I tell it every year.
This is the day.
Oh,
But
the
it's not
bro-
often that we're on the
bro was
air.
out riding his bike 15 miles to the beach.
It's one of my favorite stories of yours.
Yeah. Well, it was my one of my cruelest
Yeah,
moments.
exactly.
But it was, it was back before the internet, so you really couldn't not everybody figured
Couldn't
shit out.
shame you.
So there was a time period where when somebody died, didn't matter who it was. The fact that you were the one to tell the person was like huge deal because they didn't get information from somewhere, and in Holland especially because it was like you felt even further out there, and so the bro and Steve-O and all of those guys went on this like 15-mile bike ride into Zaandam from Amsterdam, and I heard about Jerry while they were gone, and so when they got back, I was like, "Hey guys, how was your ride?" And they were like, "Oh, it was great, man. It was great. Oh, dude, we were tripping and whatever." And I was like, "John,
Wait. They were tripping?
Oh yeah, of course.
So you dropped the worst news you could ever tell Keith Lenz, other than the fact that they've somehow genetically decided to remove sour diesel from the genome.
Something
You're
like
going to tell him
Yeah,
this
yeah.
news?
Oh yeah, no, and it was
With
like
a smile on your face,
It was
right?
like, well, totally, dude. It was like one of those like, and no, because I literally in my mind, the first thing I thought was, well, fuck, this is going to be the biggest party ever, forever now. Like, this is it, party forever. But they thought the exact opposite. They were like, it's over. Like, they were trapped in Europe. They came over for that, because this is like, they did the European tour, then they came back, and then they were like, kind of waiting for the next one. But yeah, it was rough. It was rough. And then even to further the story, which I told on another show, when I talked to Keith the other day about said situation, because it always pops up. Even worse was that fact that my mom's ex-boyfriend, Tom Salter, who was on the show at one point, was their European manager when they came over, and the first thing Jerry was like looking for some drugs, and he's like probably one of the first guys to throw him his first bag of heroin. Like, here you go, Jerry,
Yay.
try that. And he was like, oh, this is pretty cool, and that was pretty much that was that. So
So you were
I
one
killed him
away
in
from
2
the
different
guy.
ways. Yeah, I got to
Thanks.
bring the news and
Wow.
indirectly be the person responsible. Yeah, so I feel real responsible.
We get a
for that.
new piece every time.
I know, a little bit more deeper.
A little more deeper.
Adam's
Sorry,
memory
guys.
comes back.
Sorry, I fucked up. No, that was way before my time. I wasn't even there.
He wasn't even there.
This is where
But Tom
Dave
was there.
tells a crazy tech story.
Oh, Ty, there you go, Dave.
No.
So
That's okay.
welcome to the show, guys. Now we've done our antics.
Our jibber jabber.
The jibber jabber. Yeah,
Now you
it's
gotta
never
move.
really over, but it's over, sort of, kind of.
Never ends.
We have a nice selection
Right?
going on here.
You're
That's
just
awesome.
going to have to start opening them up and put a nose on them.
I know.
I didn't see a name on this one.
What was the first one?
They all have the names on the lids.
Oh, that's a good place
With the
for it.
cross,
Temptation by Bubble Bath.
yeah, that's the champagne showers.
Here,
That
get
farms-
closer on the mic so I can hear it. Can you hear? What is it?
Champagne showers.
Yeah, what is the actual cross? Do you know?
Temptation by Bubble Bath. And that
Temptation.
Bubble Bath is the Project 4516 crossed with the soap.
Okay. The Zope, the Z with the O?
No, the
oh.
soap.
Oh, okay. Well, it gets confusing these days because you got the Zope and then you got the soap. Let me say that again. Because it was a.
We really need to invent smell-o-vision.
Yeah, it's. I keep saying this too because there's a flavor that keeps popping up. It almost like a do-si-do kind of has like this sort of top end something.
It's really heavy on the soap, in my opinion. But you also really get the Project 4516 out of the Bubble Bath.
And the
as well.
Project 4516, what's that one?
It's just a gelato.
A gelato, okay. Yeah.
Why is it 4516? What's the significance of the number?
What I heard, and who knows, you know how it goes, but gelato 45, number 16 pheno.
Gotcha.
It could be totally just a myth, but that's what I've always heard.
That sounds reasonable.
James Bean says he's a huge fan of the bubble bath.
Oh yeah. Shout out
Wait,
Lit.
James, come on. You going to throw me a softball like that?
Oh, come on, man.
Really?
Come on, man.
There's no need. I wasn't even going to bring up your shirts or anything like that, man. But you got to throw me a
I
softball.
like it though. It's good.
You know, where did Bubble Bath come from?
Lit Farms. They were the breeders of that one.
And I got to ask though. It has the word bubble in it, and at any point in time, does it come back to him?
No.
No.
There's no bubble gum in bubble bath.
Well, it's the word. You know, I know it can be
Lit Farm.
something.
He has it
different.
on his site, so maybe I'll go check it out.
Look it on seedsherenow.com. Check it out. It's always a good way.
We shall see. Vinny, did you get the computer back, or is this all new?
This is all now.
Oh. Yeah, all those drops you guys love, they're all gone. All
Yeah.
gone except one.
Those were in the board, so we saved. We got 128 of the old ones.
Interesting.
There we go. There we go. If anybody is,
Well, it's
not that anybody would be listening,
good
but if you're at least
selection here.
here,
Good
call
We
in.
selection.
do have all the Danny though. That's a good one.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's just Bubble Bath by Bubble Bath. That's what it says here. So
This
I don't,
show is worldwide.
I spoke with Ed today. He's doing very, very well. He wants everyone to know. He's very, very excited and happy doing some work with Humboldt Seeds. So if you see his name on something from Humboldt Seeds, it's the real Ed Rosenthal. They're not ripping him off or anything like that.
Nice.
It's very nice.
What's that one?
It's the Grease Monkey GMO.
The Mr. Nasty. We brought some of our staples that we had to bring, but right now we're hunting like 30 new strains as well. We just didn't have anything
The
quite ready to
the
bring.
hard job of
Yeah, it's been chaos.
Where?
30 different strains, or just different, like couple different strains and a lot of different phenols of.
Like 30 different strains
Wow.
and
And then multiples
3 to
of,
5.
of each.
Yes.
Wow, there you go. So that's a good run.
Yeah.
And now you're in mid stride on that, or is it kind of like you're in the testing phase, actual?
Both.
Both.
Oh,
Okay.
wait. Did you
Yeah.
lose it again?
Yeah, oh yeah, right away.
Oh, my gosh.
Like within 1 day, it was gone. Gone. Top. Gone. I
What?
told you they've made it wrong. They have to put it so it has to either stick to the side or click to the back. Otherwise, forget about it, stoners. And it was so funny because I know where it is. It's in a room. I know where
in a general
it has to
area.
be in that room because it flew. It literally. I picked it up, and it like flew across the room, and I was like, God, this thing is not designed right.
Yeah, that's what you should do. Insult the advertiser.
they
Why don't you
know.
send him a little private note? Hey,
I-
by the way, I
told him-
Adam Dunned it.
I told him on the day one. I said, dude, every stoner is going to lose that unless you can click it onto the back or stick it to the side. There's just no other, If we're going to lose something,
Because
we're-
it's got a magnet in
I
it,
didn't
and then
lose
it. Goes
it.
shooting.
exactly. No, that's exactly what
I
it is.
haven't lost mine.
Yeah, the magnet makes it like if you have any metal in it,
It's gone.
gone,
It's on your
gonzo.
keys, and then you pull your keys
So
out.
you're the reason why things have to be really like just hard to get into, because you're that guy, Adam.
Yes. So, give me a little background on the growing and who's like. Is this all done on cocoa or is it done
Yeah, it's cocoa.
preferably cocoa? Yeah.
Yeah, cocoa Athena,
Coco Athena.
Cocoa Athena.
Says everything. There you
Well,
go.
one day we'll get you off of that Athena crap.
We
so.
get good results, and it's just like at scale, it just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I get it, and that's people don't want to take the risk of losing out on potential ease of operation, right? But I think in the long run, there's going to be this point where people realize to stand out, especially when it comes to like if you just put your product next to somebody else's, the visuals are never a problem. It seems like that's like everybody gets it. Like there's great looking weed out there all the time. It's just for me, it's always the memory of the flavor and the uniqueness of individual strains pulling out certain things. Whereas the Athena is kind of it's a safe bet for sure.
But we've had great results, and it's like I'd put it up against anything on taste tests, and honestly, it's, and I know I feel a lot more is involved in genetics and just your overall practices, than just the nutrients going in. I think that influences the overall quality a lot more than just the input on the,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Well, I mean, there's there's like hybridized versions of it too, where people are using Athena as a base, and then they're adding other.
Yeah, we run microbes. And different things,
So I mean, so that automatically individualizes it, in a sense, because you're not going to have the exact same microbial sort of situation here as you would in another place in Cali. Whereas if it's too sterile,
Sure.
and it just used to be back in the day too, when we all grew with General Hydro, we were all like, the best thing we could grow with. There was nothing else out there that beat it. Everybody did it.
Yeah.
But we also had this sort of thing where, not that it wasn't like unique enough, but there was definitely some connection between all of our different things, and it was like certain strains just they didn't stick their head up out of that zone, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And they would they get kind of locked into this little, oh yeah. And then if you're like House and Gardens did exactly the same thing. Like everybody started using it because in Holland that was House and Gardens was our Athena. You know what I mean? And every grower, and I'd be like all sad when I'd be like, so what are you guys growing it with? They'd be like, House and Garden. Fuck, jeez, okay, all right.
Yeah, I was on the House and Garden around 2006,
And I was just hoping you were going to say something else, just because it's always nice when people come at it from a different angle, like Organic Alive, and like just different flavor profiles will come out of those things.
Oh, for sure. The organic tea growers have always crushed it forever. That's always been my favorite as far as like personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just at scale and commercial. It's just such a nightmare to do it right.
Yeah, it's not so bad on when you're going for it. It's just in between each cycle is harder to maintain because there's a lot of differences between the year, like summertime, wintertime. Like you harvest in the summer, and things are already active and going. Whereas if you're in the wintertime, everything is like pretty sterile because there's nothing happening outside, and you can see the difference. Just it's like how your clones do, right? Like when you're like it's like spring clones compared to winter clones, right? Like winter, it's all dry and combating them. So springtime, all of a sudden, everything is blooming. Like you're like, oh well, that was easy because
For sure.
nature's doing everything for us, at that point.
Oh yeah.
And also, it depends on how many guys you have in the garden.
4.
Just 4 main people?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Okay. Because sometimes when you have a large scale places, that's when you run into problems because you'll have communication issues between the different growers, and all of a sudden you're doubling up on something, and that's,
You're just talking about you and Ace and having watering the same plant 9 times in one day or something like that.
Dude, I've seen gardens where there's 300 people who have access to a garden, and I'm like, how in the world are you keeping up with that? And it's like, at that point, you really
Everybody knows what they're doing.
You'd have to simplify it at that point, you know what I mean? Because that's the other thing too about growing organically is there's a lot of things that are out of your control because you've just sort of set the plants in motion, and then you got to kind of keep it rolling, but it's already done, you know what I mean? There's not like that ability to pivot as easily.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, it's got to be so difficult to even want to vary any of your metrics in growing once you have it dialed in. Even when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I've done this different. Well, yeah, you have done it different. You've done everything different. And it's tough to just change one little metric and not have it possibly have a catastrophic effect going back. That's why I like hearing stories when Fang comes on the show and talks about feeding a plant Mountain Dew or something like that. Like
He would not do Mountain Dew.
Not Mountain, you know what I mean. Something
Fruit juices and stuff.
right, yeah.
I love that guy.
Just to say, what the fuck, because not everybody can charge $2,000 an ounce like Fang can, so it's good to be the king. But I can understand that, but I still, I know what, like when JW from Green Farms Med in Colorado Springs, when he's really dialed in, and it was over, especially like those 2 years over the plague, it was just, maybe it was that they didn't have a lot of foot traffic through and he was devoting time to the garden, but the organic, you could tell, you can smell it. There was something about the terpene profile translating from the nose of smelling it through the smoking it that were similar, that it's tough.
I think the key, I think that the hardest part is, and it's not a problem probably for you guys, but is when you have organic weed compared to synthetic, what's really noticeable is a little bit of like cure time. Like when you let it sit for a little longer, a lot of times the organic sort of comes out later, like it pops out. Whereas a lot of times with synthetic stuff, it'll be really good right out of the gate, and then it sort of like dwindles down. But as long as you're moving the product quick enough, you guys will never get to that issue. You know what I mean? But if you're like growing yourself, so like that's why it doesn't make sense to grow Athena for personal grow, because why would you do that? Because you're kind of like growing way too much weed already. Now all of a sudden you don't have time to get to it in time when it's at the right moments. Yeah. Whereas if you do organic, I think for but again on commercial situations, it's a lot easier for people who are, dialing it in to X amount of harvest per week, X amount got to go into the shop, and you got to keep it all dialed in.
Well, and then you bring the LEDs in now, right? We're all under LEDs, and the EC you got to maintain for the par you're getting off these lights is crazy. Where organics aren't going to give you those numbers, I don't feel. Like it's just going to be a different ball game.
Right. Like you end up top feeding a lot, and it's interesting. So did you guys start with LEDs, or did you guys start with HIDs?
Double and HIDs.
As far as like commercially, obviously back in the day before that, everything was
at Boulder Built.
At Boulder Built, you started with HIDs.
Yeah, myself personally, HIDs for sure. Single-ended bulbs back in the day.
Right. Yeah. I still rock them.
Yeah. No, we veg under 315 CMHs right now at Boulder Built.
Yeah. But, I like CMH's spectrum.
That's what 14er uses too.
It's
it's a nice veg light.
Yeah.
And it's a good transition light to go from that to LED. Like you're sort of halfway there. You know what I mean? Whereas if you go from HID, you start flipping them back and forth. The plants kind of go, ooh, what's going on here? And you'll end up sort of seeing the either leafier growth or. But with the LEDs too, how was your learning curve? That was also for everybody was a little.
So to me, everyone talks about the humidity and whatnot, and that's kind of a given. If you've been growing for a while, that's just going to happen, right? You kind of assume that. But for me, it was how different strains perform under HPS versus LED. Like I had hunted a bunch of fire under HPS that we've brought to LED gardens, and it just doesn't perform. Completely different,
Yeah.
And
Or the other way around too, possibly. Or
sure, absolutely. So I mean, like you have to rehunt a bunch of new stuff and look what performs under LEDs, under that light output, because we have what we see a lot is like a lot of these strains will be so light sensitive that the tops just do that real Lorax little sticking out,
Right.
with a little, you know, and just
sage, my strain
Mutants.
sage was like that really bad. Like it got heat sensitive, so if you were too close, you'd have a whole new plant growing off the top of your plant. You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, there you go. It's like fucking another whole thing kind of starting up here. And that would definitely mess up the resin production. And sometimes, like when you were harvesting, the inside stem was like that big, you know what I mean? Because it just sort of like started to regrow again, and you're like, God damn.
yeah, it's weird how the genetics react to the different light levels, you know, and that's what's been the learning curve.
And surprisingly enough, it was for me the more equatorial kind of sativa types that were really light sensitive, which you think would be the ones that could take all the light.
Sure.
But they would just like be a little more sensitive. I mean, probably because of their narrow photo period time too. You know, compared to indicas are a little bit more. You know, they're working on a full spectrum, whereas the other ones are on 11-13 or 13-11, and that's about it. You know what I mean? There's really no variances, so they become more sensitive to those situations. And then so how big is your grow? Like, what's the canopy?
2 flower lights, 110 lights in each room.
Okay, so it's good, nice, small, tight footprint, real easy to.
Yeah, super boutique. You know, we can control a lot. You know, quality-wise.
Yeah, and that I mean, it's also kind of what we were saying before about the difference between, you know, before people were producing. You know, obviously this is not for shops, but back in the day it was more like you're producing, you're getting it all down, big giant, ridiculous Coke bottle buds. Nobody, you know, people didn't mind. Nowadays it's like, that's totally not interesting at all. It has to be like how you guys have them all, just perfect little, you know, from every side. It's not like once you split them.
It costs you money if it's not that grown that way. You have to pay somebody to take it off that stem, and then those buds just probably don't look as bad, that well.
The worst thing is when you have like what was the most beautiful thing as a grower, like tops are just beautiful, and then you buck them all down, and then they end up looking like absolute dog shit because there's no those insides of those buds never saw light. You know what I mean? So now you flip them around.
Yeah, we don't grow for like maximum yield. You know, that's not like our goal.
Sure.
It's like we got a sweet spot we want to be at that makes sense for us, but maintains the quality. You know, and that's the overall purpose. You know, is the quality. So,
the first time I saw somebody grow for visual appeal to be sold was in Boston Garden 1991 Dead Tour. This guy, he told me how he did it. He trellised the entire thing right after he bent the plant all the way across. And then he covered it with a trellis, and then all the buds grew up to the same height. They were like these 6-inch sticks. And that's what he sold. And he kind of got a feel for how much each one weighed when he put them into bags so that he didn't have to have it marked and everything. And now that I look back at that, he was the first, like, efficiency consultant for the cannabis industry, and he didn't really know it.
I had a friend back in the day that would grow in those styrofoam coolers, and he would tape the colas down to the sides, tie them off to the sides, so it'd just open it up like that, and he'd get giant yields off these little styrofoam coolers, I swear.
See, well, that's the innovation. You guys got to like devote one room to that, just like freaky shit, something out there with, Fang and Coca-Cola or fruit juice or something like that.
Love that. We love the room for that.
I see. You phrased that as a question. Wouldn't everybody, right?
Yeah, but we experiment for sure, We're not just stuck on, we experiment.
No, I dig this flower right now, and we'll explain to everyone later.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
So pre Boulder Built, you were growing just like you're saying you were growing with HIDs, and was that here in Colorado or was it?
Yeah, I've been. The last year I was down in Walsenburg at All Pro.
Okay.
Consulting down there, did a 5,000 square foot build out. Pretty dope. Before that, I was up at Loudbird. I was there for a few years up in Boulder. Before that, I was in industry doing IT.
Okay.
So
And is that the transition? Was that just to get out of, just for you to change of pace, or was that like a complete, like the industry was?
No, Natalie said, you get a real job or I am kicking you to the curb. Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to share that. I apologize. I know you told me that in confidence.
No,
Sorry,
that's
buddy. Sorry, buddy.
yeah, no, I was a grower for years. You know, I used to, you know, I'm from Salt Lake City, so we would go out to like Northern California to Mendo, get property, grow out there, and trap back in Utah. You know, that was
Yeah, I
our
was
whole
gonna
thing.
say there's a hot spot. I mean, last week Dave was all proud because he's now able to travel through Utah by, like he wasn't.
Yeah.
He hasn't been there. Hasn't been through Utah forever.
Not since I moved to Colorado when I drove through from Oregon in February 7th, 2000. That was it. Nope. Haven't been.
What makes it so you can travel through there now?
Because they have medical reciprocity.
Oh,
I
really?
just go onto their website. I uploaded my driver's license, my med card, and gave them $15, and I'm valid for 21 days. And so I can drive through. So I checked the same thing because, you know, if we go back to Cowboy Cup in Oklahoma, those fuckers there charge $100 if you want your medical card to be valid while you're there. What a fucking racket in Oklahoma.
Oh wow.
I mean, I'll do it just for that month so that there's not a problem. I mean, driving through those two jerkwater towns on that panhandle there, they have the blacked out cars, you know, and they just look to pull anybody over.
It's funny, on the way back last time, I thought I was in Oklahoma, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm in Kansas now. I was like, no. I was like, no.
Oh, you took the wrong way.
I was like, no.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kept going, too, even after you realized where you were.
I just, you know, I was like, if I turn around, it's going to be worse.
Me and Vinny had a 5-foot bong in between us, so
I know.
it was really,
That's always fun.
yeah, so we were just.
Who
we
was
were
the
rocking
passenger and who was going?
it. We were rocking it.
You had the nitrous bong?
Yeah, dude. On the way back from Oklahoma.
What you want to have when you're in Utah is not a normal
No,
bong,
no,
but a
Kansas.
yeah, Kansas, sorry.
Oh,
It
my
just-
gosh.
It didn't just Star Trek transport over there, Dave. I don't know.
Really? It didn't?
Yeah.
Who was driving? It was you.
No, Vinny.
It was Vinny. Oh, see, then you were fine. You didn't care. Vinny's Air Force. He'll get out of it. Get out of the ticket. That was interesting, huh? The fourth wall.
Yeah,
Yeah, right there.
there you go.
Yeah.
And we're back.
And we're back. Sorry about that. We had to take a little bit of time off.
I got a couple of your seed packs that I'm gonna pop. They were like rainbow sherb crosses I got from Ivy.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Right on.
So just got to get around to that.
Look at that. You're famous, Adam.
Oh yeah.
You're going to have a presence at Boulder Built.
And then, so where's your spot at exactly? You know where it is, but I don't.
It's the yes, you do.
Do I?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. I have to invoke his name.
Oh no.
It's Mitch's old place.
So,
Oh really?
Yeah, it was Boulder Wellness.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
yeah, we went through this the last time. I
That's
think.
right.
But it's good that my memory fails and then his memory fails and then we
balance each other.
yeah.
out.
That's right.
Memory failure. Oh, no, that's
Chat
Coach
is
Spot.
asking, what forms of concentrate does Boulder Built produce?
We're not currently producing concentrates
okay.
right now.
You can buy them there
We have
from
a-
some other vendors, right?
yeah.
But there's not a Boulder Built.
Yeah, not from our facility. We do have a MIP. We're just not currently doing that.
Got it.
We are working with some well-known brands though on collabs until we get something up and running in our own facility.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
right now we have Mighty Melts washing for us, and Kane with Red Roots Rolling making some hash holes for us, and we work with some other brands as well to wash so we can have some live rosin joints.
Boy, the hash holes hit the market pretty quick, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you blinked and now all of a sudden they're like
Hash
everywhere.
holes everywhere.
But
Bunch of freaking hash holes everywhere.
But here's something, Adam and I, we would take this for granted because we're not walking into a dispensary and paying $80 for hash hole. And I'm just hearing rumblings, not from Boulder Built. I didn't even know you guys had them yet. But that's the worst thing. You canoes, and you're going, that's $25 I just lost.
It's
You know?
important who rolls them.
It is important who rolls them.
It's just it really is. So if you're gonna sell a hash hole, you really need to take the initiative and make sure that the product you're delivering to market isn't going to give the entire hash hole sector a bad name. I really did enjoy the small ones that 14er had for a little while. They were like 1.25 grams, and they were the perfect, single person. The only thing I don't like about these hash holes that are coming out is, and I hope I'm not insulting you if you do it, the glass tip.
Oh,
I don't like it.
Well, we're working with Kane, and he doesn't do glass tips. But
good.
not that I mind a glass tip.
Yo tips.
Yeah, I mean,
Fatties, big fatties.
you're using a Yo tip right now. We have Yo tip XLs, that are designed to go around the fatter hash holes.
Oh, yeah.
But there is something about my teeth touching glass. I don't know if it's just me. I hate it. I don't like it at all. It is like
What about
fingers
glass
on a
pipes?
chalkboard.
My only thing
can
I don't like
understand.
about the glass. Oh, sorry, my bad. Is that it?
That people throw them away when they go like, yeah.
Well, there's that. You always have like a alcohol thing full of these things afterwards. You know what I mean? Like try and clean them out, but also like the weight.
yeah. It's
You
a
know,
little-
it seems like it offsets the weight of your joint and it makes it weird. to,
Yeah,
like,
man, I
mash.
like my joint balance, bro. I want
Hey,
to
you
go
know?
one finger. No, it's true.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off though.
Guess what I ordered yesterday?
What you ordered?
What did you order yesterday?
Guess what I ordered?
A joint roller?
Nope, a brand new laminator, freshie, a freshie.
Yeah, dude.
I'm going so the Great Gardener, right? He hit me up and he was asking me about that, and I looked back on his thread. And I was like, oh, he's starting to make them too. All right, I've got to get back on. I got to get back on the saddle and start making my fucking hash wraps again because
Yeah, dude.
nobody makes it like me.
I have yet to try
Nice.
a hash wrap.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, you have.
I haven't tried
Nope.
them.
We have
brought
never.
it in
No.
When J Lo was here, I brought one in that time.
I wasn't here.
Yeah.
No, then
Yeah.
it
Don't
was.
remember smoking.
It was over the
That's
plague.
because that's what happens. You get really high and you forget.
Yeah, those
the
are
next
great.
next time.
No,
you smoke
Rosendog said he was going to get us some, and he became a famous hash rapper with the Hash Crew guys, and they're making amazing videos, and every day, and he's yet to get us some.
Who's that? Rosendog?
Rosendog's in
I
his
know.
Hash Crew.
Oh, that's right. He was going to send us some.
It's because he owes
Yeah.
me $1 for every one that he ever sold, so that he can't flex.
Oh, right.
Because he goes, I got 100, 10. I sold 5, 3. I sold.
We had to
one
pull him off the
once.
shelves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because
they
he got
didn't
really
pass
excited and
quality.
started talking about tens of thousands or something, and then I was like, oh, cool. So, $1 per unit.
Just so if you guys don't know this, Rosendogs has been one of Adam's disciples since the first Adam Dunn Show Invitational, like 37 years ago. Rosendog's only 8 years old, and was just a baby, and owes everything to Adam.
Everything. You heard that,
Everything.
Rosendog.
Yep.
Everything.
And tells us we should come out to New York, and we keep saying, that planes require tickets,
We're gonna.
and just grab us that ticket, and we're there.
But you
Rosen.
guys are setting up a MIPS at your place?
We have a MIP, and Boulder
It's
Built
just
is
more work.
really well known for.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they did ghost sugar terps. Everyone asked me about them. Everyone wants them back. I didn't work at Boulder Built when they made them.
It's tough. I mean, that's the same reasoning I had for getting a new laminator. I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? Those tried and true things. You kind of almost, it's the hardest part of running any business is that people, they like something and you got to deliver it. And sometimes it's usually the thing that is the most pain in the ass thing to do. And
That's
you're like,
really tasty.
And so you're like, oh, really? The one thing that is really like, oh, there's so many steps involved and whatever. And you just end up because of the workload, stop doing it, and then you forget, but the customers don't. You know what I mean? So
Well, and we put a lot of thought into it and everybody's requests, and we have been working towards a new, improved ghost, so to speak. So
Nice.
it's on our minds, but currently, right now, we're just super focused on the flower,
see a
getting the
glass
new
tip.
strains.
and
coming through.
edibles out of that same spot at all, or you guys?
No, but we do work with Dialed In
yeah,
and
okay.
some other brands.
You get yeah. So with your material. Oh, nice. Okay, that makes it easy. Yeah, there's a whole there's lanes, right? There's so many
Yeah,
lanes.
let the best people do it. You know
There's
what they're
many
good at.
lanes. Oh, I know exactly.
Everybody tries to do too much usually in this industry. They used to at least.
Well, there was a time you had to, just out of necessity, right? You couldn't really farm it out, and we're all on a learning curve, and it's exactly the way I feel about it too. Like even with rosin and stuff, like I watched other people do really, really good work, and I was like, after growing it, and drying it, and trimming it, or fucking freezing it, or whatever you did, it's like there's so many steps up to get to that point. Like I always hated that, like, I felt like really good bubble was fine. Like, I was happy there, you know what I mean? And so I would end up not squishing it, whereas my other friends, their brains were like, it's not ready yet, you know, it has to be, you got to get it to that phase. And I was like, almost like, that's where you fuck it all up right there, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of like, but I think everybody's got their shit together over the last few years, and it has, I mean, drastically improved.
Oh yeah.
Well, this champagne
Which
showers
makes it
is
even
really
more of
good.
a reason to not do it yourself, because those people have really dialed it in. You know what I mean? So it's all temperature related. That's the whole key to everything when it comes to hash, and it always has been. It's always about temperature.
Yep.
And if you can't control it, you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in a place that's 80, 85 degrees or whatever, then don't make hash, because it's not going to work. You know what I mean?
It's great that you say that. If you saw the video that JJ from Dutch Botanicals just released, he's standing over his, the wash machine, whatever, I don't know what the technical term for it is right now, and he has the laser thermometer temping the outside and then temping the inside, and there was maybe 1.5 degrees difference between the outside of it and the inside.
Yeah, the best hash we used to ever make was the wintertime outdoors, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like, so like, you know, it's time. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Open all the doors and fucking let's start making some hash. Like,
Yep.
okay, open all the doors up.
Hell yeah.
I had it last year where it was just a little too cold, so it was starting to turn into like a slurry, you know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, this is like the opposite problems right now. Like, I gotta warm it up or something, because
Yeah,
it was
your
like,
water's freezing.
it was getting to that point, because it was like, I had all the doors open, shit just cooking. Yeah, it was funny.
Every time we talk about making hash, I'm
So-
reminded of what you used to do with the people you used to come by. He used to have an arrangement with everyone that if they drop material off that he would wash. And so he would get the first 20 seconds.
It wasn't washing. It was like, that was the pollinator. That was back in pollinator days. So it was like, oh, okay, I'll just take the first 30 seconds and you guys can have the rest. And they'd be like, yeah. And I'd be
Well, I
like,
had a hash machine company called the Original Resonator.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think I remember that. I mean, I remember the name. I don't.
Yeah, my buddy owns
Was
it,
it
to this day.
Was
you
it
know,
like
so-
a kind of same as a pollinator, but a little longer version, or?
The first version was like acrylic, you know, little household type size, 12 inches, see-through, had a drum with a removable screen.
Okay.
We made about 100 of those. Launched them at Champs out in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I sold out to the company. This was back in 2011. I sold out to my partner, who sold out to our other friend, who TJ, who owns it to this day. But he's got this new machine that will trim with CO2. It'll do bubble.
Okay, I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen that at the shows. I think it's like tumbler with CO2 attachments and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so out in the mountain in California, we do the same thing. When I was R&D in these units, I'd make big giant ones, and then everyone would bring me their stuff, and it was 50-50, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's always interesting to watch people's like a little bit of a heart drop, a little bit like, oh my God, I've been wasting so much time. Like, when the first time you show them the product back from, like, they give you some stuff that they think is garbage, and you come back and you go, here, and they go like, holy fuck. Oh, and then they're happy, and then they're kind of sad because they're like, I probably threw away $500,000 worth of fucking product at this point. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. At the
Just
end of
outside of Willits, we'd find big garbage bags on the side of the road.
I was going to say, yeah,
full of
people
trim.
just dump them on the side of the road because they don't want to deal with it.
Before all the hash machines came out.
Uh-huh.
you
Oh,
know?
yeah. Yeah. There's a point in time where trim was like becoming as valuable as flour, just because there's so many people looking for it to process.
Especially for the BHO.
In those phases, yeah, like
Yeah.
around sort of same time, 2011, 2012, 2013, right in it was like, fuck, people were getting such good money.
Yeah.
But it's
But before that, you couldn't give it away,
right,
you know?
right.
People were just dumping it on the side of the highway.
You could if you knew me, because I was making tons of butter.
Same.
I mean, that was always the best part of making it. So with living in Amsterdam and making hash was always a funny thing, because in the beginning, it was like hardly anybody was doing it. It was just like, you know, we're literally like pantyhose stretched over a frame, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't even have a screen or anything. Just like, fuck it. Just seeing it work was like, oh, damn, this. And it was just, and then it became really quickly apparent. I was like, oh, the reason why people don't do this, it's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's time consuming. And then we weren't thinking about temperatures back then, but now everybody's got it dialed in, and it just gets even more. Like, it's like, okay, so before I can do that, I got to do this. And before I can do that, I got to do this. And when you actually start setting it all up, it's like, again, like being a good chef or something. You just got to have your shit clean. And you can't cross-contaminate everything, you know what I mean? That's how you have to think. Your brain has to be in that mode. And if you're not, you'll never make really good hash. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's like you got to be super anal.
Well, on
And-
the dry sleeve, we would just throw in chunks of dry ice in the drum, you know, and it would just come out blonde, you know.
Yeah,
First
dry
couple
ice is
minutes.
a little aggressive though sometimes. I mean, that's the only problem with that. Like if you have, like it'll take everything off the plant. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to be really, like, it's like within the first seconds. Like it's so fast. The problem
Well-
is stopping at the right time because people tend to go, oh, keep going, and you're like, no.
Yeah, no, this is
no.
why we kind of made this machine. We used to use meatless pollinators.
Yeah.
But it was a box you couldn't see inside when it turned green.
Yeah, the
And
gray
so-
ones, the gray boxes that you
Yeah.
had. Yeah, I didn't like those either.
Yeah, but I mean, it worked, you know, but you couldn't see when it turned green. You'd have to keep opening and looking.
Did you see her? Did you remember she had the one that was about 8 foot long and it was just open ended?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That I wish that would have caught on, because to me that's the smartest one ever, because you set it all up. You got, like, say you got 100 pounds over here on this side, you got the 8 foot down there, and you got a little empty, and you just run it all through. And now, especially once people started making BHO, you're like, dude, that's the ticket right there. You
Yep.
load it over here, you take all that, you separate it, you run all that, because then you're going to get the most out of it. Because a lot of times, I mean, the best part of the material is all fucking gone before it's ever even hit the water or got into the machine, because that's, what's really funny is back in, about 1990, I was working at Sensi, and there was a guy who came in, I forget what state he was from, but he was a grower, old school. I think he was from like Kentucky or something like that, because it was like and he was outdoor grower, and what he would do every year, he's like, yeah, you know what I do? I got a walk-in freezer, and I take my plants, I go in my freezer, I hang them up in the freezer until, I don't wait until the plant's frozen, I just wait until the trikes are frozen. And then he would take it, and he'd have a big sliding glass door laid on its side, and he'd take a broom handle, and he'd hold the plant above it and hit it, and then just put the plant in and dry it off and finish it up. Then just do that, and he'd go, I keep all that for myself, you know what I mean? Fuck, I was going to lose it anyway, and it was like, fucking pretty genius idea.
Yeah, pure heads.
And he was like, it was funny because this is like 1990, and he was explaining it to me, and it sounded so good. He's like, and then I just get out my razor and I scrape it off because it's all, and I'm just like, fuck, it is literally describing the best full melt hash possible. You know?
Yeah.
And just like, and that was, pre-screens, pre-anything, not even just simple way of thinking about it, but it was like cold, a little vibration,
Yeah.
That's all you need right there. So there's always a better way. And that, what did you see in the static thing? That's pretty dope, right? The SE Labs and Tim's trimming.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's not.
But that's what would happen inside of our tumblers, It would just static to the sides,
Yeah.
We'd see that
Well,
So-
especially the plastic ones. That's
Yeah.
probably even more, because the one I had from her was the original one, which was the Formica with a clear thing that you'd open in the front. The biggest problem, and probably you figured this out quickly too, is loading it and unloading it is where you fuck everything up. Like that's where the contamination happened. Like if you had your screen underneath it and you tried to, so what I was doing was I was taking, when you those poster things you look through at the head shops and you got all the posters. A friend of mine had a bunch of those around, so I'd pull all the plastic pieces out of them and I'd use those plastic things as like a sleeve underneath and I'd run it for 30 seconds, take that sleeve out, put a new sleeve in, and then lay all the sleeves behind me, and then I could go back and keep working because I realized that's where I fucked it all up. Like I'd go in there and try to clean up the corners, you know what I mean? And it's like, you never get it all out. And then you put the next load in, and then you're mixing up things, and things.
We got to get a Green Bros dry sift machine down here and run some of your product through it.
Yeah. Green Bros.
Oh, Green
I'll
Bros
get one
has a
down
dry
here.
sift now?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Want to take a look at one?
Yeah.
No problem.
The Alchemist 420 is their model, that square
Yeah.
one. It's really dope, actually.
Yeah.
Thing about it, all this stainless makes it really easy to, like when you're working with their stuff, you're like, you pull out the drawer, you dump it out, it just comes off perfect. You know what I mean? It doesn't just stick to nothing, and you don't have those issues.
Oh, there's lots of automation coming. I mean, we've done, or we did, a few shows on the whole reschedule fucking Michigas and what will happen. And I'm trying to find an upside to it. I still can't get what Tony Manitti out of my head. That he just thinks it's the the death knell, and that you don't realize it. We're like lobsters in a cold pot. But the short term is that we're going to see some medical innovation, some research.
Are you're saying it like it's already a done deal? Is it
No,
done?
I mean, when something's going to happen. We are a fucking political pawn right now, and the race is so close that any movement from either side, it might. I think
Anything
something's
could happen.
going to happen.
I don't see it happening.
Anything could happen, but it's not probable
Dave.
to happen. I don't
Dave,
think.
stop
No.
being
So
so
what I'm
lame.
saying, I want to see, big efficiency measures come in. I want to see commercial scale. I want to see people getting into this industry that are backed by banks that right now can't be because they have no access to capital.
Sounds like a bunch of Chads to me, Dave.
Yeah.
Sounds like you just opened the door to Chad Fest.
And no, when 280E goes away and we have a safe banking act, that changes everything.
It's probably the reason why those people. But
But
again,
everybody has bank accounts already,
yeah, and those.
But you have a bank account as an operator. That doesn't mean the same thing as safe banking for someone who will come in and sign a note for you and say, Natalie and Brian, I saw you guys on the Adam Dunn Show bring some joints there like 4 years ago and watched what you guys did. I'd like to back you. I want to stroke a check for $20 million, whatever it is, and put that to a reality. And you think that they're writing a check. They're going to their bank and they're saying, I believe in these guys, give them a loan. And that's what happens. Or that he writes the loan and gets that money. He doesn't have to have it. That's could change everything.
Yeah, but it can also
Change.
It's over at that point. Like then you just give up. That's when you sell out to. That's when these guys. Can
That's
go
the only
like,
thing keeping Walmart out and whatever,
exactly.
big
They're
corporations.
like, oh, the Walls want to buy it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Here.
But you can't stop. You can't stop that. They're everywhere.
I know.
They're everywhere. So figure out a way to work within the system so that we don't get stepped on the way when the floodgates open. There has to be a way for all of us to come together on this because.
I mean, it's proven. It's proven itself though already from every single time it's come out in any new place with all the money that comes into it real quick. Then they realize they're never going to get it out, and then they all fucking panic, and then it's just like we move on to the next. It's like, oh, you guys didn't realize that? It's like, duh, Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's why craft is. That's like where you guys are at is perfect because again, you can pivot, you can change, you could sell out if you had to down the road if you move on without a big. But some of these places they're so under. It's like, oh my god, dude, you have like, especially those the large facilities that are just. A couple 100,000 square foot building. Like, come on now.
And they're going under every day. Like
Big time.
There's so few grows now in Denver compared to what there was a couple years ago. It's
And what
crazy.
do you think that is because they're shitty growers, bad business people, or really had poor expectations about where the market was going to be?
All of the above possible, like in some cases.
I was about to say, man, you
like-
hit all of them.
Yeah.
But then you should shouldn't have been in business, shouldn't have been in business, and it wouldn't have mattered if you were in cannabis or in coffee. Whatever you were doing in that moment, you were going to fail.
Well, and a lot of it is price. It's not an easy business, and that's what a lot of people misjudged. And so when the price was really good, it was worth to mess around and try it. But now as it gets real and it's as competitive as it is, it's weeding a lot of people out that just don't have the experience.
Do you think they misjudged, or did they just stick their heads in the sand and say the $3,500 pound will be there forever? And this was 10 years ago when they're trying to write projections to use 3,500 pounds. 3,500 a pound, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Was never going to be that way. I say this all the time. You grow it in a soil medium with water. Okay, it's where the farmers are the only industry treated not as bad as our veterans, but they come right after that. So farmers get fucked. People want to eat as cheaply as possible, and they eventually, that's what I was saying earlier. There's one guy's managing 10,000 acres of corn. because he's got some huge machine and he just drives across it.
Yeah.
So that's what's coming to this industry, whether we like it or not. You can't stop progress.
I agree.
There'll always be you. There'll always be you guys growing artisan cannabis.
Hey, you bringing the old thing?
No.
But just like alcohol, there'll be different.
No, that's
sectors.
Mark's.
There's always going to be the.
What are you doing?
No, I don't.
Or
have anything
Vinny's. Every time somebody goes to the WhatsApp thing, it dings.
on. Not me.
Okay, it's
I
gotta
don't
be
have
Vinny.
any sounds on.
Let's.
My
Let's.
sounds are off.
All right, maybe
Yeah,
it's the
I think
computer.
I think it's Vinny.
Oh, you think it's Vinny? Blame Vinny. He's working. He's making barbecue.
I know, but he has like 10 phones, dude.
This is reminding me of that scene from The Glass Onion with the big guy who had his little Google alert set and it was dinging all the time, and that's how. No, nobody saw that one. The Glass Onion.
No one knows what the hell you're talking about.
Hey, look at that!
of not knowing what the hell you're
Legend, and get that out of here.
Yeah, he's got his little dildo thing. He's got his dildo with him.
You bring your butt plug with you, iRock?
Oh boy, oh boy.
Why are you showing off your butt plug?
It's good that it's flared.
Yeah.
flirt.
Oh, yeah. It has a hole in both ends. so it
Flared for
doesn't
his
come out.
pleasure.
No. There's
it's
no
okay.
talking back there. Nobody could hear you.
Nobody hears you.
Yeah. Well, he
hears or
brought
sees
one of
you.
the other types of electronic vapes that looks like a butt plug.
Good job.
Kelly made a good point. She says small farmers get fucked, large farmers get subsidies because they can afford lobbyists.
Yeah,
Is
but
this
how
the
many
truth?
really rich farmers are there? They're all become corporations. And the guy who grows it gets fucked. Remember what 3? No, it was more than that. When we
Yeah, but I
doing
mean, the
that-
reality is, any real farmer that's making money is like they don't. It's nothing like growing cannabis. Cannabis is like so labor intensive comparatively. Like they'll just hire some guy like that fucking guy over there. His
That guy that just walked in
and
with
he'll
his
get his tractor and he'll go in there and it's done
I think
deal. That's it,
Maybe
you know?
part of the difference is like
Compared to-
food, you got to eat it. Like and like we
Gotta
you could
eat
choose
it.
not to smoke it. You know what I mean? So
What?
If you have bad
You're
weed,
fired.
it's
Get
not
out.
good, you know what I mean?
iRock,
Like-
you want a job? Can you do OBS? Take Mark's position right now
Okay,
and
you're,
take him
you're
outside
deep
and
in
kill
our
him.
conversation now. Everything's
Yeah.
about you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can't sit in
shit.
front of Dave without him mentioning it.
Yeah, you sat right in his line.
Yeah,
you're
you
fucked.
can't sit in his
He
line of
walked
sight.
in with the
Yeah.
fucking Puffco thing, man.
Oh,
Fuck
said
him.
it. You said it now.
Did you notice the Cowboy Cup
No.
with their application for judges came out today, and I took a look at it, and it says, what are your specialties? Like, do you like concentrate? They didn't say concentrate. They said, how do you like to smoke? And it said Puffco/DabX.
Wow.
So look, they're up there getting there some recognition.
It's a big battle now.
It's not that the Schwagco is becoming ubiquitous. It's not. There's other choices out there.
Look at you overemphasizing it.
Well, we're on the radio. We're
Breaking all
podcasting or
breaking
whatever
on the
it is.
radio.
The interwebs.
What radio are you
Hey,
on?
Grandpa, go tune into the Adam Dunn Show.
Get on the radio.
Beep, 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 doo, 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 doo. Dial it in 87.5 on
Yeah,
your
we're on
FM
ham radio.
dial.
We're on the ham radio.
Did you ever do that?
Nick's learning. I got a little. I'm not gonna go get the whole license and stuff yet, but we're dabbling. I should say we're dabbling.
Nick will go on and figure out how to do it and
How to
say,
get in
Dad, I
trouble.
already got the license, and
No, it's like a
they're coming for me.
$10,000 fine if you go on there without a license and start
yeah.
fucking around. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
You don't want to mess around with no hand. They'll find you too. They'll be like, boop, beep, 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 beep.
Boop, boop, boop,
Triangulate
boop,
They'll
boop.
triangulate your ass. And come get you. Nick, why are there FBI here? What's going
Somebody
on?
is rappelling from a helicopter, Nick.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
We
So-
brought a deal with us for you guys.
You brought a what?
We brought a done deal.
Oh,
Oh,
done
wait,
deal.
whoa. Can we get some...
whoa.
Vinny, any type of, drum roll or...
He's busy.
Busy, Dave.
Can't you see
What are you
people
doing, dude?
Okay, so these are done. Is that what you did? You did the flip over like we're at Fogo de Chao? Is that what's going on?
No, we
You
smoked
Fogo de
these
Chao
two.
those? All right, I got you.
Wait,
Yeah.
what is Fogo de Chao?
When you flip the thing upside down, you got to either give me more or don't give me any more. And that's kind of Fogo de Chao style right there, where you flip the things over. Very good.
I
Dave.
was going to go with
Good job,
Jet Lotto.
Oh, okay. That's good
No?
job.
You wanna pick
no,
one?
No, do it.
No, Dave, we'll just
We
do
got to
whatever
smoke
you
it all.
want to do, Dave.
It's like fucking.
Do you have anybody who knows how to use OBS or anything like that who might want to come work on a podcast every Friday? No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's
That's why
rough.
we have more.
It's hard to find someone that wants to do that, right, Dave?
I don't know anyone who would give up every single Friday night of their entire for 6 years. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
right?
in your prime, like from like 35 to 41. I mean, the prime dating years of just getting out there and socializing, and you come and sit with Adam and I every Friday. We love you, man. Thank you so much. You can't be
Stole the
replaced.
best years out of your life.
I know. Look at that.
You can't be replaced.
I gave you the best years of my life, man.
Yeah, man.
It's like we're breaking. Are we breaking up? Is that what's going on?
No.
Yeah.
I did speak with, just so you know, I did speak with an SEO specialist today.
Oh God, they don't not let an
here we
SEO
go.
specialist near our fucking.
He was telling me what he
laughed.
did for Green Bros, and no, he did some really great work for them. Okay, and so I said, well, explain how something like this happens, and I told him our Cheech and Chong debacle. Do you guys know what happened with that? We over a 12-month period from March of 22 to March of 23, this show had 1.3 million plays on SoundCloud.
Damn.
Right? I mean, it surprised me. I
So we
didn't
can
think
even like impress people. Hey, yo.
So I had a conversation with
That's when
Cheech
it
and Chong's people, and we did a collab with them. We did a whole. They were on for 90 minutes.
Dope.
We let them upload the show through their server to SoundCloud, and we got digitally destroyed, like wiped from. Like you can't find us unless you spell out the Adam
go all
Dunn
blurry?
Show. You know. Now it's
Why?
all fucked up. It looked great before.
They all blurred us out.
Why? What happened? What did they do?
Vinny took his glasses off and then started dialing it in. I don't know
We,
why. I was
we
doing
don't know. That's why I'm speaking with an SEO person, search engine optimization, because we always had the cushion
better
that
before.
there's another Adam Dunn out there. He's a baseball player, so
No,
they can't
other way.
really
No,
ban
worse.
Adam Dunn,
Yeah.
right?
Worse.
So
Worse.
it was
Right,
one of those
right.
things where
Right, somewhere in there.
maybe they didn't have us. Maybe we're being suggested to people who are baseball fans, and they were listening, going, "Why the hell is that baseball player smoking a joint right now?"
And he's all skinny.
You
And
know?
he doesn't have any. It looks like he's
Yeah.
Like it was mislabeled.
malnourished.
Who knows? 1.3 million plays. Okay? You know what we had the same period for 12 months after that? 260 or 280,000.
Yeah.
We lost 1 million plays. 1 million. I never had 1 million of anything.
Yeah.
That's why
You know,
everyone needs to go hit the
Complaints.
like
A lot of-
button. and
we get about
help
a million.
the
We get about a million
Yep,
complaints
share
every
this.
month. Right?
What?
Yeah.
So we get about a million complaints from him about him.
Yeah.
Give or take.
I mean, that's a
Mostly IROC.
majority
It's mostly
of our
IROC.
comments.
That would be fantastic. That would be.
Dave complaints.
If there were 1 million complaints, think about how many people were listening. That's at least 1,000,001.
All right, everybody, you heard the.
You heard.
the
Get those
segment.
complaints going. We need
Get
at least.
those Dave complaints.
Hit the
going.
like
Fire 'em
and
up.
subscribe button. Maybe share the show with someone if you enjoy it.
Oh,
Be like,
so
hey,
did you see
I
that?
thought
Did
that's
you
what
see
we were
that?
doing for Patreon.
There's this like weird Dave guy. Like, check it out.
Did you see that? Big Dummy wasn't lying. That we were number one on that top 50.
Number one.
Yeah, dude.
Foam finger number one.
Yeah.
I mean, but,
USA.
I mean,
USA.
so the
No, don't break up.
Don't ruin
Fuck,
it.
Mark.
What is the other way around?
You
It
guys
was-
sound like Schmoopsy. I ruin everything.
Don't take away our magic.
No, it's fine.
I
No,
know.
we're
number
one, dude.
Number
Yeah.
one. And it's in order
Yeah.
of importance.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely in order. Definitely not reversed.
Definitely not written by AI, and definitely not for any.
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
100% not.
SEO
100% not
things.
AO. AI. SAOEIO. No, definitely not AI.
Definitely not that. No.
For sure, humans
No.
wrote that.
Oh yeah.
They listened to
Yeah.
every show.
Oh, I know.
And they said this show, the best.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I mean, look at all the great stuff you get.
Right.
You get Dave doing whatever Dave does.
I don't know what that is yet, but
But we got top guests.
we'll figure it
So
out.
there you go.
We're figuring it out as we go along, right?
Book the guests
Build
tonight.
the ship as you cross the ocean. That's how we'd roll around here. No, but I was impressed. I thought he was lying.
Who am I again, Vinny?
No, yeah, totally. That's
Yeah, no. Did you give him a yeah, no?
Yeah, no, that's us. Number one.
Hi, my name is Dave.
Is that like from Hillbilly Dave Dating Channel?
I think it's what is it? It's that Adam Sandler movie.
So let's go. We can talk tech talk again.
Andy
Since you are
Samberg.
running LEDs, what kind of lights are you running?
Samberg move.
What do you got?
False.
I knew. I was literally gonna say, if you're growing with Athena, you probably
I need to be using
sunscreen.
The rebates are nice, you know. If you
Rebates are rebates. Doesn't matter who you
I know,
use for
but
that.
you got the rebate. That's the problem. So now
Yeah.
you rebated it up.
Yeah.
Once you rebate,
and these lights are
can't
nice.
go back.
You know, we're using
no.
like
At least you got.
one-to-one
At least you got.
replacements.
At least you got a decent. They're a good company for sure. The difference is the longevity situation of it because, 5 years in with the same lights is when about everything starts falling apart because that's usually about how everybody's, got any kind of guarantees or warranties, and if. Like I have lights that are about that old, maybe 5-6 years, and like that whole series is fucked. Like they're just popping off left and right. I'm not going to name names, of course, but it's just wear and tear of being in the room.
I'll say their name.
And getting oversprayed. No, actually, those are younger. Those are the ones you're thinking of are in between. I've got multiple companies.
You let me know when
And
I
it's
can
just
say
funny,
their name.
But it's just funny because that's the one thing that Sunscape really thought about. Whereas you can power wash these lights, right? And so that when you think about that from a grower's point of view is like, oh shit. So that means when you're done, you go in and go nuts and don't have to worry about it because the biggest issue, it's not as bad here as it is in like Florida or somewhere where it's real humid, but exposed diodes, the way all the lights are made, is like crazy if you think about it because it's almost like, okay, we have a car, but we're not going to put anything to cover any of the electronics. We're just going to leave them wide open. How long would it last? You know what I mean? It wouldn't last. And if you got fans, that's the biggest problem. So if you've got fans, you're pulling in dust. You're in your room, you're transplanting. You know what I mean? You got fucking dust flying everywhere. If you don't turn those lights, you have to turn all those lights off. Kind of like not think of it, like, and then people don't. You know what I mean? If I could turn them on, sucks it all inside. And so that's the things there. You go like, okay. And so the other thing about Sunscape is that they're modular, right? So everything you need to replace a driver, or you can just go in and replace it. It doesn't have to be a whole new lamp. You know,
He
what I mean?
took Moore's law into account when designing his lights. It's not. No one's saying ditch your Foch right now and install Sunscape, but you're going to buy another facility eventually to expand Boulder Built or to help someone else
next
out,
week.
and they're going to have HID in there, and the rebates are on what illumination you're replacing.
Sure.
So if you're replacing HID, you qualify for that program again.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter what it is. And when that time comes, at least allows someone from Sunscape to come in and, set up a side-by-side comparison for you.
And then there's a few other, because the one thing that's nice about these guys too is they're growing under the lamps for the last 5 years, testing them and bringing it to rosin and doing all the data in between and figuring out. So they're taking it that seriously where they're like, okay, we want to know which ones are producing obviously quantities, qualities, all those things, but they're also stoned, they're smoking. So it's it's great because a lot of times, a lot of these companies, they're just looking at whatever's the cheapest one to get it out there and get the biggest footprint, or the numbers make sense.
Yeah.
And so from it's also, he comes from the mining industry, right? So his shit is all just designed to be indestructible.
Well, you can't overstate that. So when you say you're designing lighting to mining standards, it's the same as a pool. Like, you don't want to electrocute somebody in a pool. If someone's in a mine shaft, it can't fail.
Right.
It can't fail. It
It's
can't
that
spark.
same choices between sharks, I think, or electrocution.
Right. I'm going to go with the sharks. And so the failure rate, they say, is less than 1 in 1,000, but it's better than that.
Really?
So that's what I say. When the time comes, you give them an equal shot. I think you'll see what so many people have seen is that
Well, that's the thing too. It's the whole rebate thing is what made everybody obviously switch over. Where you're like, oh shit, well,
Made it
that's worth.
affordable,
How could you not do that? You'd be dumb not to, because you mean, so basically it's free, right? It's yeah, pretty much. And a lot of times.
See, we just work in tandem with the supplier.
So, but that also means that we have to wait 2-3 years to get to that point where then you'll see what was worth the money or what not. Again, those are good lights. I mean, so at least you have good lights to work with. But when it comes to the weird failure things is not necessarily always like full failure. The biggest problem is that all the lights on the market, or pretty much almost every single company, has a fail on situation. So what happens is if they fail, they stay on. Unless it's like a full, complete meltdown or whatever. But for the most part, like if there's a failure, the way they want you to know it's failed is by having it on. So it again shows you they're not growers. Like no grower in the world would say, hey, you know what would be a great idea? Let's have a light stay on in the room, in the flower room, and fuck everything up. So there's been a few situations where people have had that happen where they're like on a couple year run, everything's fine, and then when they start to fail, they fail on. And I know my guys out in Vegas had 2, I think maybe 3 in a row where it was like, are you fucking kidding me again? And like, it didn't mess the whole room up, but it definitely messed up an area, and all it takes is that one area to go herm or fuck up, and then all of a sudden you got the whole room really. So anyway, those are our sort of real world situations that are always good to kind of nip in the bud, literally, because like if you can do it. So yeah, if you get a new facility, just give us a heads up.
Hold on. When you get a new facility, there's no if. These guys are the pros from Dover.
That's right.
No, nobody saw MASH? No? Gosh. Vinny saw MASH.
Nobody's listening.
Oh, my goodness.
No, Vinny's not listening to you. That's the big difference. What is that on your thing there? What is going on?
What is he? He's off the cigarettes now? What?
I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on over there.
Dave was the first to notice. Nice.
You really are?
Is that one of your fake cigarette things there? You just grab it and pretend?
Good for you. Adam, get the
day
fuck
3
out now.
panic mode right
Don't say any. Shut up.
Dude,
No.
I just saw, actually.
Don't talk to him. Don't say anything to
There was
him.
a sale on tobacco. There was a sale. They had buy one, get 6 free.
There's 2 packs for $1.
A weekend blockbuster deal.
Weekend blockbuster deal.
You're so horrible. You hate him.
Usually every time
Just so you understand, Vinny had quit smoking cigarettes, had made it to
3
day
months.
10. Okay, day 10, they say you can get to day 10, you're done. And Adam sent him a video that made me want to smoke. Okay?
Like the whole
it
lighter,
made smoking
slow motion
like the
crackle.
greatest thing in the world.
Like the ASMR cigarette.
You
Did
heard
everything.
the sizzle of the everything, and then it talked about that feeling of just intensity of that first drag in the morning. He was smoking by breakfast.
Oh yeah, he's smoking.
Oh, I was back at the store before the video ended, I think.
Hey, I just said check it out. I didn't say.
No, you didn't. I wrote. I
didn't say jump back on the wagon.
It's just check it out, Jerry died, guys.
video.
Oh yeah, I was saying it's kind of the same. It was the Jerry died of cigarettes.
I fucking got out of the car. These two are standing there. I'm crying. They're looking at me like, what the fuck? You're about to start the show. I'm like, it's Jerry's day, and you're going to bring it up again. Thank you, Mark, you mother...
At least 3 more times.
Well, then he walked up with a cigarette. I was like, no.
That's funny.
You got this, Vinny.
And I had just told Mark, I was like, I just want to drag to throw it down again. But
Everybody send Vinny some support on what do they can send money, right? Send Vinny $1.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody send Vinny a
You
dollar.
know, so he doesn't smoke. Every dollar,
Prove to
don't
him-
smoke
to
for the
prove
day.
to the world.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Make
Come
more
on.
money on a GoFundMe
Send him
than
a
a
dollar.
barbecue.
Yeah, right? And if you send $5, he might feed me in between
There you go.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Oh, where's
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he
Everybody
ran out of
said-
mac and cheese last week, which is just completely not fair.
The chat asks, why doesn't Dave roll joints before the show starts? Or does that just make too much sense? He can't even bring a lighter to the show, bro.
Dude,
Like,
why would you-
Why would he even...
He didn't have anything prepared.
Wait, that's spoken like someone who doesn't appreciate the finer nuances of cannabis freshly ground.
I know.
Why would I want
Who would
to
ever
roll
want
it then?
Because
I
we don't
mean,
have to write the names
I do
on
have to
them
give
and
it up to
everything.
Yo
It's
Tips
fun with
also.
that.
It's ridiculous.
No, it's an experience. You got to watch. Otherwise we'd have nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Right?
yes, you would. You'd find something, don't
Yeah.
We would be like, God,
His
this is so
voice, you know, like
very
his
efficient.
clothing,
Yeah.
you know.
There's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
You got a full laundry list.
Yeah, full laundry list.
Oh, he got more offers to... They'll send $5 to not feed you, Dave, in between.
Wow.
Please,
All
go right
keep
ahead.
going.
Go ahead.
Bring it.
Yeah, bring it.
Where's
No problem.
Where's this?
Where does it ding? Show us when it dings. Who said that?
Who's trying to kill
Okay.
me?
It's actually James Bean.
Which troll said that? Oh, James Trollbean? Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Okay.
Have you been to seedsherenow.com lately? You should check it out. He hires a team of human writers to write all these descriptions for all his strains, everything like that. Absolutely human.
Definitely humans.
Definitely human.
Not
Not
long-winded AI.
No. It's such good text that Mark was completely fooled. Oh no, Adam was fooled. Was reading this whole thing praising James for all the work he did on it. He got about 6 minutes into it, and he's like, "I think I said to you, I think that's AI," and that was the end. But it's all AI. AI is everything.
The AI bubble's almost over. Guys. It's happening. It's
You
happening.
think?
Yeah.
Have you decided?
They're losing so much money. It's crazy. Like they spent trillions and they're making like hundreds. It's like this is not working.
Yeah. Everyone has like subscriptions to that stuff. It's like I'm
Well,
not.
Hold on,
that
I
is
just
not-
want
that-
a subscription to
No,
AI.
not even subscriptions. That is not paying nothing.
Yeah.
It's all the companies that adopted it.
Uh-huh.
It's just it's an overglorified chatbot, right? Is all it is.
Right.
And so all these people are like, we just wasted so much money on a thing that doesn't even, it's 30% wrong on everything it talks about. So it's like 30% wrong is not a good
That's
chat
terrible.
situation. Like, oh, so you got the only 30% wrong? Cool. We're talking about medicine right now. Like, oh, these people are all, 30% of the people.
AI's like 18 months old. I'm talking about making a cheeky video for
You ask
Yo-Tips.
it, you ask
it was
it
great.
if it's okay to eat rocks, it says yes. It goes, yes,
No,
you
no,
should
man,
eat
I
at least
was
3 to
banging
4 a
7
day.
gram
And it's
rocks.
like, there you go.
Oh, good.
So that's how smart
Vinny
AI
went
is.
to high school with Charlie Sheen. Did you know that? They did crack together.
Dave.
What?
come on.
He didn't? I'm
Guys
not
are-
supposed to talk about
Dave
that?
is a misinformation machine.
Yes.
What? That's true story. That's 100% true. Just like IROC is your real dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That could actually be true. That's not too far-fetched, actually.
No, I think IROC speaks
got a couple.
Spanish. You
He's
don't
got a
speak
couple.
Spanish.
He's got a couple missing kids out there. I'm sure somewhere. You could be one of them.
Oh, boy.
He's got a couple missing kids out there.
A couple rando missing kids. Possible.
Somebody walks in now. Dad! Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I never
Keep
look
in
back
mind, this
when
is a big Sasquatch.
Let's look. Okay, sweet. What'd you do? Did you ash on Natalie?
Oh yeah, I just flicked it right at her. Whatever.
This weed is really fire. I'm very impressed with how the terps come through the smoking profile. So whatever you're doing to make that happen, you keep that up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team's small and they kill it, you know?
Well, but I
In all
wonder what that
departments.
is. Is it the cure in the
Absolutely.
dry? Is it the last flush you did?
Absolutely. All of that. All of it. All the above, you know, it takes all of that. You know, you can't cut corners anymore, you know?
And you have to do it with Athena because there's just no other way around it.
Well, that's his only corner cutting right there.
I mean, look, with no
It
clogged
tastes
drippers,
good.
like it tastes good. No clogged drippers, that's such a big thing. You know, we're not losing plants, we're not losing production due to that.
Is
you
it
know?
dosatron or is it just
Dosatrons.
Yeah, okay. So that's always everybody's like the main reason.
I
for
love
using
that
Athena.
name.
So I got alternatives for you, which I'll figure it out soon. 'Cause once they land here, I'll get you some samples to run. Just because that's pretty much. I mean, obviously we don't want to fuck up anybody's system. So and there's been many times where it's like, yeah, it runs through it, and then you're like, does it really though? And you're like, all right, well, kind of, but you got to do. It's like, okay, we can't afford that just because I know how it is. But yeah, definitely.
So for those who are
There we go.
not chemists and have grown with Athena, how would Athena be a salt additive?
Real salt, yes, definitely.
Real salts.
Definite salts.
Was there ever any other than it just being a commercially used product? Was there ever somebody say, well, Athena's comes from some what would Scaldone say about it? Would he be like, no, it does? You don't.
No. Well, the reality is, it's somebody smart who went, hey, if we take this other company which already puts out product which is pretty straightforward, but you got to actually pull out a calculator and figure it out, and it gives you whenever you go to these, like when you go to real agricultural places, it's such a pain in the ass because it's never the way we're thinking. It's always like, and on 1,000 square feet we might have to, you're like, okay, that's not helping me at all. So you have to come up and figure it out. But the reality is they just did that. They dumbed it down and put it all into packaging that was real simple, like, look, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, done. And then it made it so people could, like you said, just walk you through it, load into this, load into that, set your parameters. And again, cannabis is easy to grow within a certain zone, but then all the magic happens outside of that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, that is the keep the plant alive, make it look green, make it happy. Like that was the thing in Holland too, like with House and Gardens and stuff. A lot of those guys, like the biggest problem was that it was too, like the plants looked artificial almost, you know what I mean? Like they'd be like, what?
Too
like,
much nitrogen.
Way too much, you know what I mean? And they just didn't think, because they were just worried about that. And you're like, nah, I love the fade, you know what I mean? So.
Isn't it the same type of complaints that people had, 20 years ago about general hydroponics?
Well, I always compare it to tomatoes. I mean, it's like you go out and buy tomatoes and you grow tomatoes in your house, and you'll never want to buy tomatoes again because they just suck because they don't have any flavor, you know what I mean? And the reality is those are all Dutch guys growing tomatoes for profit. In Holland, when I lived there, the tomatoes were the worst, but they were like the heart of those are the guys who invented it, right? So like they just went straight for production. What's the easiest thing? What can little suckers connect to it and pull the thing off, and the machine rolls down the thing. All has to be like perfect.
Sources say
and
that's
so
not healthy.
Can't do it organic, because if you do it organic, it's going to be different, and they're not going to be, you know what I mean? So it's all about automation, and
Well, there's another thing as you're talking about it, is that if you're using any type of automated drip system, it can't clog anything. That you talk about when we were talking about sunscape.
That was my nightmare back in the day. Whenever I used drippers, was like, oh no, that whole fucking road, and oh no, like the first plant clogged up, and then all of them clogged up behind it, or whatever. There was always these little where particles got into the, like when I first switched over to cocoa, it was like a nightmare because the tin filters were not keeping it clean, so I was getting like everything great for the first couple days, and then all of a sudden I have to go through and pull every dripper off and blow through it and poke through it, and and then at a certain point I was like, fuck it, I'd rather hand water, you know what I mean? But and then you can only do that to a certain point too.
Then this is the challenge to some smart person, right? Put Miles and Tim in a room together and say, create a product that can replace Athena, but would not be considered inorganic by the industry.
You sure you ain't
do your
source down the
R&D.
I think Tim kind of had it dialed in. He was the key. The thing is, it's like, again, it comes back down to like people who are pushing the bigger grows. Every little fucking thing counts, and so if you're like, okay, it's gonna come up a little more expensive, we don't want to do it. Like we're on such a fucking razor thin line, so it's coming in under, because they're literally buying product from another company that's been around forever and just repackaging it and selling it for a little bit more. You know what I mean? They're not gouging anybody by any means, and they're fucking smart because they're on the whole like, here's some food. Have some food on us, bro. You might like it. You might like it. Come on back if you want some more. And you're like, dude, this shit's fucking easy. I mean, they'll get people like Dredd and all those kind of guys, and it's like, because they run huge facilities and they get it. And they're like, okay, that's easy. For me, it's easier. Then they can sleep at night. You know what I mean?
But before Athena, it was Jax. It was Veg.
Oh, that's worse. That's worse.
These are all things salts that have been around. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Like.
Yeah, Jack's scary just because it's so fucking.
You
feel like you're like really in the heart of the fucking beast right there. You're like, maybe not. I ran Veg and Bloom. I had issues with it.
Wait, what? You ran all that stuff too?
I ran Veg and Bloom. We never sponsored our show for a little while, but they had like that dirty mix. You remember that one? They had like the dirty form. Like they had a couple different ones, and one was called the dirty. And I was like, I'll take that. That sounds like a better one. But I had some crazy, weird issues, but I'm not going to, again, I never really got to the bottom of it all because it was one of those, like, I felt like I got a bad batch or something because it was, like, just crazy. Like, at week 6, everything just, like done. Like, what? What happened here? You know what I mean? And, yeah.
We got Mark Strain up next.
Oh yeah, that's totally Mark's strain.
Mark, do you want to read the name of your strain?
What's the name of it?
Oh, you go ahead, Brian.
Fire crotch.
Fire crotch. I remember that strain.
You remember it?
I
Yeah,
do
you never
remember from
forget
the
your
last
fire
time.
crotch. Oh, last time you had it?
It's usually stubbly.
Last
He,
time
he usually never forget when you have it, you know. It sticks in the memory.
Totally.
So, I know Jonah's probably in the wings too.
Greatest moment of my life.
Is he there?
I don't know. Should be.
I said, well,
It's 5:55. So you said 6, right?
Let me give you guys our deal,
Kinda.
and we're gonna take off.
Oh no, yeah, we can cross over too. It's
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Hang on.
Nope.
I will send him a
I'm gonna
note.
get out of here. This place is too long.
No, we got a good deal, 20% off at the store. Done deal for, if anyone comes in.
They have
Boulder
to-
Built Dispensary.
Nice. And they can just do it at the counter. Just roll.
Yeah,
it.
just walk in. They'll
See
be-
that, Dave? So easy that is.
I
No calling
love it.
in, no
Love
checking,
it.
no.
love it.
Much easier.
Yeah, no, it's
Crazy.
They don't just carry a bunch of boof. It's fire on the shelves. They're real.
Hear that,
selective.
rosin dogs?
They're real
No
selective
boof.
about everything up there. It's curated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nice spot. Nice spot
Don't
to
even
shop.
think about boofing it. Don't even.
And they have two sides of Boulder Built, so if you have a medical card, you can go on the medical
That's
side.
Aussie.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure this is just how fucked up our laws are here. You can walk out with like 30,000 milligrams of edibles.
I believe it's 40.
40,000 milligrams of edibles. So that's,
That's a party. That's a party right there.
Hold on.
but only
Oh, you got coffee, Bo?
but only two. We hear you, Jonah.
There he is.
But only
Hey, guys.
2 ounces of flour.
Yo, welcome
The
back.
Dabstar himself.
The star has arrived.
There
It's
he
happening.
is.
Dabstar documentarian.
That's it. And you we'll get into it, but did you pick 2.0 because 1.0 was taken already?
No, he's been shut down, I'm sure.
We were deleted on Instagram, so we lost our following with 100,000 followers, and we just had to start over again at Dabstars 2.0.
For sure.
I feel like you're still shadow banned a little bit though, because it's fucking hard to you have to type it all out perfect, or else it does not give you the automated fucking pop it up. You know what I mean? Like you see the other ones, the South Africa.
You're on it 100%. If you have to type somebody's name out all the way, then they're making sure that only people that specifically are looking for you find you.
Because I even had to go back because I fucked up and I didn't put the S at the end. I put Dabstar 2.0 and then I said it. I was like, oh no, go back. And I was like, God, they're really making you put every little fuck. Because that was nothing. There was nobody there. It was 0 and 0, but they still put that one first.
Well,
that popped up,
And they'll put the scam accounts that are actually ripping people off ahead of the real accounts.
For
but
sure.
on Facebook, we're still just Dabstars. We're much easier to find.
Same as with, we had Ed on. He just got his thing back, but he had that whole issue. You saw that, right? With Ed's.
Oh, that was terrible. And the things that they were posting were obscene.
I know, and we had him during the
Send
show.
money for Madonna.
Yeah, we had that one picture that was really bad. Remember that one?
They were all really
giant,
bad.
The giant chick with the little skinny dude, and you were
It
like,
was-
"Oh my God, what is going on here?"
Ed's gotten kinky over the years,
And the amount of people that thought it was real.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think that lasted very long. I mean, after a couple of days, you realized what it was.
But he got it back. It worked. He finally made it. That's it's crazy how much of how hard it is to get your own thing back when it's 100% obvious you are who you are, and then there's people just.
I had talked to Jane, and she was desperate. They had gone through that process for a long time. They'd sent in all the identification, and they were still like, hands up, can't help you.
Yeah.
Did you link?
I think
him
we
up?
have a slight audio delay.
Did you link him up with the right people, or he had to go?
No, remember Ed was on the show. Somebody contacted him and said, "Hey, I've been through this before," and they took it over and they got it back.
There are people that do that, and they usually want payment after they get it back. So whether it's witchcraft or reality, if you got his page back, then hooray, right?
Right. I mean, and he had. I remember him telling me he was like 350,000 followers on there, and he has a mailing list that was embedded of like 1 million email addresses. I mean, he's worked on that network for a long time. It wasn't just they took your account, let's just start it again, like all these fucking social media corporate fuckheads think that, they can just play. I mean, actually, we were talking earlier, right? Won't that be another thing that will benefit us? That if it does go Schedule 3 and there's banking, they won't really, fuck us over on social media? I mean, what would be the point?
Well, I mean, look at England now. You're arresting people for social media posts. So
What?
It's like, yeah, they're going into people. They're literally, if you had posted anything about the riots going on and you was in any kind of positive light, if you were like, fuck those guys, they're going to people's houses individually
For inciting.
and arresting them for
like inciting.
basically doing it electronically and doing what they would be doing if they were out down on a street corner.
Yeah, that's why they were coming to get Kendall.
Britain has some weird laws on slander and misinformation, so I don't know.
Protect the queen.
I don't know. So tell us something good about Dabstars. What's the project you're working on right now? You just the last time I saw you, I think were you in Amsterdam, sitting at the plant?
Yeah, we just came
with
back from
Steve?
Amsterdam. It was surprising to see the 710 culture really being celebrated more in Holland than it is over here, because over here I think we've kind of forgotten that. We've moved on from it a little bit, but it was alive and well in Amsterdam.
And you were just there in July, or
Yeah, we go over a couple of times a year because half of our ownership is now over there with Jair.
Adam's old buddy.
Yeah, everybody's old buddy.
Everybody's old buddy.
Everybody's old buddy, right?
But now we have November 30th, right?
Wait, tell me about that one again.
So forget about 710. Because, the good thing is that 710 made it where all the projects you thought you were going to do on 420, they didn't come to fruition. So you're like, yeah, we'll do it at 710. And then that doesn't work out. So then you got 1130, which is 710 plus 420. So perfect. So we have another holiday. We're just one more. We squeezed it in.
Is that really a thing, or did you
It
just
is
make that
No, it
up?
is a thing.
All right.
Come on, 11:30, bro.
All right.
And
We're
you
going to
can
make it a thing if it's not.
And you can smoke at 11:30 too, so it gives you just another time to do it. And you can do both.
11:30 in the
You gotta
morning,
do
right?
dabs and weed at 11:30 because that makes more sense, right?
Right.
Come on, combine the holidays every day. Try not to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, just don't do what they're doing, and we'll be good. I think
They really fucked up. They put one on like every half a block had another dispensary, and there's too many licenses for anyone to make money.
It was $80 to get a license, right? I mean, that was basically it.
75. 75.
And then when we were driving the first time we got there.